What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer, and welcome into another edition of MVP Games Live right here on twitch.tv/MVP Vids or on YouTube at MVP Entertainment. I am joined, as I always am, with my partner in crime and beautiful face, Soapy Muffin.
Hey guys!
Hey guys! Soapy, it was an eventful weekend. I feel like I talked to you a lot, watched NXT with you, watched SummerSlam with you. And we've, like the thing that YouTube ain't going to see, but Twitch saw, you and I and Philly Sean have been playing some Schmite together. And Soapy has been seeing frustrated Ricky, a Ricky that he rarely gets to see in my gaming where, when I get frustrated, I just fucking, like, my confidence goes through the floor and then down some. It was bad last night. I felt like Sean was like, dude, it's okay if you want to sign off. And I was like, no, I got to get better at the fucking game. I can't get better at the game if I log off. But yeah, it was some interesting times there. Maybe we'll stream some Smite, and I'll show everyone how bad I am. But we got a jam-packed show for you guys, talking about Nintendo Switch, talking about Lord of the Rings. We've got Epic versus Apple on the show, of course, but not really in the way that you would think about. And then much, much more. We've got also DC Fandom, Gotham Knights, and Suicide Squad hitting our eyes. But before we get into everything, a little bit of housekeeping. First off, thank you for your patience. These will be on podcast services hopefully sooner rather than later. Also, if you're watching on Twitch, thank you. If you ever miss a show, you can catch us on YouTube, MVP Entertainment. If you're on YouTube right now, you can catch the show live around, let's see if my math is right, around 5:30 to 6 Central Time, sometimes a little later, depending on how long Sports Live goes. But you can catch us twitch.tv/MVP Vids. If you have not joined the Discord, join that down below on YouTube or on Twitch. You can just put !Discord and it should pop up the link for you. And I think that's it. Oh, also, if you're a DC fan, check out, I'm doing a ton of, if you're on Twitch right now, they're not there. But by the time this goes on YouTube, my DC Fandom videos will be up. So I've got a ton for like the Batman movie, Wonder Woman movie. I have about 8 of them that will be hitting the YouTube page. So Twitch, you'll have to wait for it. But once this is on YouTube, they should be there. But Soapy, let's start the show. And we're starting off.
You forgot producers.
Oh, I did. Producers. Oh, no, I forgot them for Sports Live too. Thank you. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. Oh, I forgot them. I forgot them on Sports Live. I didn't mention them on Sports Live. So thank you to our Patreon producers. Ooh, Soapy, not letting that one go. This would have been a full day without thanking them. Our Patreon producers, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. I hope I've said your names enough to make up for my gaffe on Sports Live. But now let's jump into the show. Thank you, Soapy, for doing my job for me because I can't do it enough. According to, this is from IGN via Video Game Chronicle, it says, according to a report from Electronic Daily News, the new version of the Switch will enter early production later this year and is set to launch at retail in first quarter of 2021. The report, which claims to be informed by sources in the console's supply chain, says that the new version of the Switch will feature improved interactivity and a better quality display. There is no suggestions as to the power of the hardware, so it's unclear if it is a Pro-like update with more powerful internals. Rumors of an enhanced Switch began in 2019 and were sparked up again earlier this year. Nintendo extinguished the flames by announcing that it had no plans to release a new Nintendo Switch in 2020, but said nothing about a new console in the following years. That initial Wall Street Journal report also correctly predicted the launch of the Switch Lite, so perhaps the predicted more powerful Switch may finally be set to make a real appearance next year. So, Soapy, like it says, we know that it's going to have a better display. We know that it's going to have more interactivity. Do you think this is going to be more of like a pro Switch type of thing, much like the PlayStation that you guys see here behind me is a PlayStation Pro? Do you think that that is going to be this new Switch? It isn't going to be a Switch 2. It's going to just be like, hey, here's the Pro version of the Switch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be something along those lines. If they do decide to go with like Switch Pro or something like that, I definitely think it needs improved, I almost said capabilities, but I think that's kind of what I'm trying to go for. It's like I don't want to say like, oh, it has to basically rival a console, because that is really hard to do for a handheld. So, like, I'm not saying like, oh, it needs to basically be on par with like current gen consoles, but it needs to be able to run games a lot smoother. Like, obviously, it runs games pretty smooth.
Yeah.
But, like, for instance, when they put The Witcher on there, they had to lower the graphics of the Switch.
Yeah.
Or of Witcher, not of the Switch. Man, English is very hard for me, apparently.
Yeah, they had to bring the Witcher down to the graphic level of the Switch.
Yeah, so I think if they make this a pro version, I think, obviously, once again, it's pretty hard to run Witcher at, like, top frames, because even, like, modern consoles, like, they struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
In the aspect of, like, if you have, like, the launch day Xbox One and, like, launch day PlayStation, they do struggle with them. Like, there's, like, a lot of frame drops. And then, obviously, once you get the Pro with the Xbox One X, it runs it like it's butter.
Yeah.
So, I think something along those lines should be improved. Obviously, interface, I don't own a Switch, so I don't know what the Switch interface looks like.
I mean, here, is mine charged right now? As I pull it underneath my stuff. Let's see. I don't know if mine has any power. I haven't played my Switch in so long, so I forgot what its interface looks like. But for me, the big thing of why I think that it also needs a big interface. Does that kind of work? That kind of works? No? That's kind of what the interface looks like. If you can see through the reflection. Like, you have the games there. Down there's like little circles at the bottom that have like news, your store, album, controllers. But it's nothing like terrible. It's nothing that I've ever been like, oh man, this is a problem. That
looks pretty simplistic.
Yeah, it's very simple. And I'm not going to put that there. That's going to fucking break. So I'm just going to put it right there next to me. But the thing that I agree with you is the sense of, Soapy dropped, Soapy's back. All right, so the thing I agree with you, though, is it does
I'm fucking dumb.
It does need more of a kind of computing power, or it needs a powerful, like, pro-like internal, because the thing that I think of is MLB The Show. So MLB The Show announced earlier this year, if not end of 2019, that it's no longer going to be a PlayStation exclusive. The next version of MLB The Show, you'll be able to get on Xbox, but you'll also be able to get on Switch as well. And for me, that is something to where, like, I think of that game alone in my mind of, like, in order to run on Switch, it's probably going to have a Witcher type of thing go into it, where it's like, oh, well, don't play on the Switch. You're not getting the same experience if you played on a different console. So to me, this is kind of maybe rearing up in that sense, because that'll come out in about March of 2021. You'll have the Switch in January of 2021, this new Pro-like Switch that'll be a higher computer powering Switch will be able to run games faster, and then like a game like MLB The Show on the Switch, you won't be able... Yeah, so like this guy in Twitch chat goes, MLB The Show 21, 8-bit edition. That's basically like what you're going to do. I know they have a retro.
Damn it, those are the best 8 pixels you've ever seen in your life.
But like that's why I feel like this has to be a higher computing power for the Switch, because yet again, this is a console that has not had many updates to it since it came out. The big one is like, ooh, Switch Lite. It's a smaller one that the Joy-Cons here don't come off and it's all one piece. So like this is like kind of the last thing that you usually do in a console's lifetime is you up the computing power, because I don't expect Nintendo to come out with a next-gen console anytime soon. They've kind of pretty much been on their own kind of timeline away from Microsoft and Sony. But the thing keeping with the Nintendo train, a little small thing here is that Nintendo Magazine says it will reveal a new Switch game in September. So this might lean into something that we talked about on last week's show. I don't think it's Breath of the Wild 2, but it comes into more with the Nintendo Direct that people are saying that we're probably going to get on Friday of this week. And basically what it says here is this is from Video Game Chronicles, the writer Andy Robinson. A Japanese Nintendo magazine has teased an important game announcement for its September issue. Nintendo Dream reportedly said it would reveal a Switch game that everyone will enjoy in its next issue, which is due out on September 19th. The announcement could possibly be related to expected announcements from Nintendo's first-party teams in the coming weeks. The company told Japanese press and investors it would hold a special management briefing session on Wednesday, September 16th, which itself is 3 days after Super Mario Bros. 35th anniversary, though unlikely to be the focus of the meeting. Several sources have also said that they expect the next Nintendo Direct to take place on Friday, August 28th. VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb, a journalist who has built a reputation for correctly reporting upcoming industry events, said this weekend that the Direct could be the first general showcase in nearly a year. So, Soapy, in your mind, because to me, I kind of feel like this could be what we talked about last week. This could be the, hey, this Friday they announced Breath of the Wild, December of this year. We get that on there. That could be it. Is this going to be Breath of the Wild, or is this something else for this new game that's going to be announced in September via Nintendo Magazine? Nintendo Dream is what it's called.
I mean, obviously, this is going to be Mario vs. Sonic Olympics 2, or 3, whichever one they're supposed to be on.
Don't forget the rabbits, man. The rabbits got to be in there, too.
That is true. I feel like, I don't know, I just have a weird feeling this is going to be a Mario game.
Okay.
I don't know why, and I think
it's anniversary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and like the only reason I think it's going to be a Mario game is the last Mario game we got was Super Mario Maker, right? Or Super Mario Maker 2?
Yeah, I think so. I think you might be right. I mean, unless you count Luigi's Mansion 2, but that's a Luigi.
Yeah, but that's a Luigi game, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know people. If we're arguing semantics, they're going to count it as a Mario game because Luigi started off literally as Green Mario. So.
Yeah.
But like, I think, and now obviously this would be a fucking dream for me. Mm-hmm. Paper Mario. Like, I really hope it's something like Paper Mario.
Paper Mario 2?
I think there already is a Paper Mario 2. I don't remember.
Then what I'm saying is it going to be like a new iteration in the story or a remaster? Because I think Philly Sean told us that they are remastering like the N64 version, Paper Mario, Space Odyssey, or Mario Odyssey, and something else in this kind of like 35th anniversary game that they're coming out with. But like when you say Paper Mario, do you mean like a new iteration to the Paper Mario games or a remaster?
I mean, it's tough with Nintendo, and it's because since they're such a close-knit company, like, we don't really know what they're working on until they announce it. Mm-hmm. So I think if they do something with Paper Mario, I hope it's a new game and not just a remaster, even though Paper Mario is absolutely lit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I almost said like Mario RPG, but like I think a total of 10 people in this world liked it, and I'm 3 of them because I take the body mass of 3 people. But that's besides the point.
And there was a Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door was a 2004 role-playing game. Technically that's Paper Mario 2, right?
I believe so.
Like the front of the game doesn't say Paper Mario 2, but there's a little screenshot here of a menu that says Paper Mario 2. I don't know if that's real or not, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you there. Also, people filing back on Twitch. Apologize for the disconnection my internet had. It was my internet.
Apologize.
Yeah, apologize. Because I
apologize for me to bringing down the stream.
I can't speak English right now. My internet was stupid. It was not Soapy. It was myself. But yeah, just a little something there, like a little snippet of like, I almost feel like I'm gonna double down on the prediction that I made on Friday. That yes, Breath of the Wild we will see a trailer. I'm gonna say this: Friday, August 28th. Right? That's this Friday. If I'm correct, yeah. So this Friday, if the direct is this Friday, I am going to say we are going to see our first full-length trailer for Breath of the Wild, and that is going to be the announcement that it will be available in December of 2020. I'm doubling down on it. We're going to get a full trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. It's going to be announced. It's coming out fall or fourth quarter 2020, holiday 2020, to kind of rival the console war that's also going on with PlayStation and Xbox. I'm doubling down on that for sure. But Soapy, the third thing we're going to talk about on the show today, this almost led the show, but I thought that a new Switch was just a wee bit more important on this one. And we had DC Fandom over the weekend where WB Montreal and Rocksteady were present at the event. The first thing we're going to talk about, we're just going to go in order of how they were announced. Basically how it went down was Wonder Woman 1984 had itself a panel, and they went for about a half hour. Then WB Montreal had a panel, and it was like, okay, we're getting it. A new game announcement. And Soapy, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but guess what I have to go ahead and do right now? Guess what I have to do, Soaps? Live here on the show. Guess what I have to do?
Oh, yeah?
I got to give myself...
It is going to involve my phone.
Oh. That feels good, Soaps. You know what that is? That's me giving myself a good old pat on the back because I called it.
I wasn't looking at the screen. I got real scared for a second. I'm like, what's he doing?
To quote a line that you have said on this show, Soapy, pick up your phone because guess what? I just called it. Back when we were talking the Batgirl stuff on last week's Games Live, I was like, well, this means that this isn't going to be a game about Batman. It's going to be a game about us playing as other characters. And we got it. We're going to be playing as Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing. I'm going to ask you. So the whole point of this, my thoughts that I'm going to give out are more story-based. I'm going to throw the tease of if you want to know what I thought about the actual gameplay and stuff, check out my DC Fandom video. I went into kind of like my just broad thoughts about it. Didn't go too far in depth. But Soapy, what do you think about this game? We saw a trailer from Gotham Knights, and then we also saw a gameplay trailer, about 7 minutes of gameplay from the actual game. What are you thinking?
I'm hype as fuck because I fucking love Red Hood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one I'm most excited for.
Yeah, and I wonder like how different he's going to play than everyone else. I mean, obviously, when they showed all the different gameplays, it's like, okay, like it seems like they all kind of have a different play style a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm hyped. Once again, it's fucking Red Hood. Mm-hmm. How am I supposed to be mad at it?
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing I mentioned in my video, I'll give a little snippet of it, is the thing that they mentioned in the gameplay trailer was players get to play with the preferred game style that they want to play. And they kind of showed, Robin and Batgirl walk into a room and it's our traditional like stealth kind of area. And you could switch between the two. I wonder how much that is going to be happening. And I hope that what you said is true, is that Red Hood being the one, he's got to play different than all the others. I know that like Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl might have all their similarities, but I want each character to feel unique to itself. To where like when I'm playing Red Hood, I don't feel like it's, I'm playing Batgirl but with a different skin. Or, I'm playing Nightwing but a different skin. The other thing, because you brought up Red Hood, I'll go ahead and say it. The thing I am most excited for about Red Hood is I feel like, so this is a continuation from the Arkham Knight game. And the reason why I say that is at the beginning of the trailer, if you went ahead and beat Arkham Knight like 100%, basically 100%ed the game, you got what was called the Nightfall Protocol. And that was basically where Batman blew up the mansion. He blew up the Batcave, blew up the mansion. Batman was basically quitting. And we kind of see that where he's like, hey, if you're seeing this, I am dead. And I have activated the protocol. So for me, because of that, I'm excited that maybe WB Montreal is going to be fixing a mistake or fixing a wrong that I thought from the Arkham Knight game, which was basically maybe now Jason Todd started off as Arkham Knight, but now he's had his full like kind of arc turn into now he's Red Hood. We've righted the wrong of like, we get it, he was Arkham Knight, but now he's truly the character he should be in Red Hood.
Yeah, and I gotta agree with this guy in Twitch chat. Mm-hmm. Didn't they say it wasn't a part of the Arkham games?
So, I don't know if they said that it wasn't, but I mean, they've made a pretty big connection to it. Like, to me, it might not be like, hey, we're definitely continuing the story, but the protocol that he mentions at the beginning happened at the end of the Arkham Knight game. And I'm watching it right now because I watched it to refresh my memory, is once you complete it, you go to the one rooftop and he's sitting there and he kind of says goodbye to Jim and he activates the protocol after taking off the Batman mask. And after it blows up, you see there, it's like there's news in front of Wayne Manor. Wayne Manor blows up, and then you get the Batman logo with it's on fire, and you hear the reporter go, Batman is dead. Or it was Gordon that says, this is how the Batman died. And for me, I kind of feel like maybe that was a lie, that they said it's not a continuation, because how can you say it's not a continuation of this story based on what we saw in the trailer?
Okay. Yeah, obviously they may try to right the wrongs of Red Hood being Arkham Knight, which still confuses me to this day. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to figure out how to word it. I almost feel like this is going to take like a very interesting approach to it. Mm-hmm. Because it's one of those things that like technically he isn't like dead at the end of Arkham Knight. And I almost wonder, like the only reason I don't think it's connected is because the fact he's not dead at the end of the game, and in the trailer he mentions like, oh, they haven't trusted us since Gordon died.
Okay, so good point. So I'm going to throw this out then, because I thought of something else that makes it to where it doesn't connect. Barbara Gordon was Oracle in Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
How could she magically walk? So here's what I'm going to throw out. And this is a theory. This is me walking on a branch. Is this a multiverse type of situation where we are going to, because Arkham Knight, was that Rocksteady or was that WB
I believe
Montreal?
So. I think it was a mixture of both, I think.
So let's see. Arkham Knight. Gonna look it up right now.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of, once again, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I agree with this guy again. Like, this could be an alternative reality.
I was gonna say
to
multiverse.
Like a what if Batman died.
A multiverse kind of thing, where it's so Arkham Knight was Rocksteady Studios. So what I'm thinking is this a multiverse kind of situation where if you're new to DC, and they harped on it a ton throughout the entire day during DC fandom, they're all about multiverses, to where there are several different versions of different characters. For example, for Batman, where the games are a multiverse, TV's a multiverse, Michael Keaton is a different multiverse than the Ben Affleck Batman. Like, there's tons of different versions of all these characters. Is this a multiverse of basically WB Montreal saying it's not a continuation of the Rocksteady story that we saw, but hey, this is basically, if that timeline was going on in our multiverse, this is our continuation of it. This is what's going on in our reality, which kind of leads into what you guys are saying, the alternate reality, but using what DC kind of has the blueprint for in its mythology.
Yeah, because I almost wonder, because if they go with that as well, like, I mean, obviously we don't know too much about the story so far. I almost wonder if they're going with the alternative reality, like, are they going to have it that, like, in this one, it's Arkham Knight and Red Hood are two separate people? That it's like Arkham Knight did what he wanted to do and kills Batman. Like, obviously, I don't think that's probably going to happen. Like, I think this is going to more or less kind of be like you're going to see the superheroes kind of how Batman originally was seen.
Yeah, the Bat
of where it's like, yeah, of where it's not just like, and what I mean by that is not like, oh, like the police rely on you, like more or less of they're like, we don't give a shit if you call yourself a good guy. Like, we don't like vigilante justice, like how originally when Batman came around, they thought Batman was a villain.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'd be terrified if a guy in fucking Kevlar armor running around just as a bat started beating the shit out of people.
Can I say this, though? And this is going to be a prediction for it. I don't think Batman's dead.
Oh.
I think it's going to be something where we all thought he was dead. He wanted us to think he was dead. I don't think Batman's dead. I honestly don't. I think that later in the game, he will show back up. And yeah, that's it. Like when they were harping on the Batman's dead, I was like, okay. I feel like later in the game, I feel like it's going to be something because the Court of Owls teaser, because at the end of the trailer, they gave us a Court of Owls teaser where it was basically someone in the Court of Owls mask walking up to a sewer, and they had this little girl. She was perfect with the creepiness level. Kind of saying like a nursery rhyme type of rhyme. And the thing that I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's experiments. I don't know if it's like a dark side tie-in and they're going to be like parademons for the Court of Owls. But they had basically all these coffins. And inside were basically like genetically modified. Like they basically looked like what we saw with the parademons in BVS. To me, that freaked me out because I was like already trying to think of, okay, what could that be? Is that just a type of experiment, like zombie experiment that they're doing? Is it something bigger where there's going to be a greater villain for this maybe next trilogy of Batman games? Did you have any thoughts when we got to the little Court of Owls thing at the end?
I mean, once again, that piqued my interest a lot. And, like, obviously, like, Batman is one of my favorite superheroes, but it's one of those things, I don't know much about him in the aspect of, like, I've played the games, I love the games, but, like, I've never been a super huge comic book person.
Yeah.
So, like, I only know, like, bits and pieces of the Court of Owls. And seeing that, I was like, okay, I don't know if this was for anyone else. I'm like, I really want to fucking read comics now about the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I know, like you said, that, like, this was something more of, like, it almost appeared like they were kind of taking something from, like, BVS. So, I think that'll be interesting. I do want to touch on the whole thing of like Batman not being dead. The only reason why I think he is going to be dead is because I don't see a reason for him to blow up the Batcave. That's the only thing I don't see, is just because like they talk about how, because in the beginning of the trailer they're like, oh, there's a massive explosion outside Wayne Manor. Like, I don't see a reason why like Batman blows up the Batcave.
Well,
if he's not dead, if that makes sense.
I'll tell you this then. He did it at the end of Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight,
but also at the
die.
same time when he was saying goodbye. Yeah, but like when he was saying like goodbye, it's like I think they were kind of pulling what they did in the what was the Batman movie that he was against Bane?
Dark Knight.
Where like Rises. At the end, yeah, with Dark Knight Rises, like how he just kind of like left Arkham or left Gotham.
Why can't this be a similar situation though? I'm not saying he comes back in this game, but if let's say this is going to be another trilogy, like a Gotham Knights trilogy of games, why not have it to where he eventually returns? Unless you want to go full into the what if Batman did die.
Yeah, I think that makes it more interesting.
Because
like obviously, you know, yeah. Well, and it's because it's like, and I've always viewed it as like, the reason why I've always found like some superhero like universes boring is like for instance, like with Marvel, and this is, I'm not shitting on Marvel when I say this. Like to me, it's like, okay, it almost seems like you can't really have a super credible threat when you have a literal fucking god, running around. Like, and I feel with this, if Batman is dead, it's now 4 different people who would handle situations differently, somehow having to work together to bring down a common foe. Because obviously, if I remember correctly, like Red Hood actually like kills people, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Or like he kills people early on, and then he just stops.
Red Hood is basically, the whole point behind him is, I'm doing the same thing you're doing, Bruce, but they're criminals. They shouldn't, like, they don't deserve to live. Like,
yeah.
Like why do you have this line that you won't cross? Like, this guy's a criminal. He's a dirtbag. His life doesn't fucking matter. That's Red Hood's MO.
Yeah. So I think they want the main MO of the game to be like that conflict of interest, of where, for instance, it's like with like Nightwing and Robin are going to act completely different than each other, because obviously, you know, it's Nightwing was more of like, I don't want to be in the shadow of Batman. You know, I want to be my own hero. So, for instance, like we may see like him and Red Hood go at each other, and like I feel like Batgirl would probably end up being the voice of reason, you know, because kind of smart. And by kind of smart, I mean really fucking smart. But also, I almost wonder, because especially whenever, you know, in the trailer, like I brought up earlier, was the when they bring up Gordon's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, I almost wonder if like they're gonna bring that up as well, as for like one of her major things of like, I don't want to say like, oh, her whole thing is like she's still grieving her dad.
But it's got to play some part into the story. Like, the thing I was going to throw your way is, are they going to make it kind of like what we're seeing with Avengers, where, so think back to Arkham Knight and stuff, there were the different like mission things, side missions and stuff. Are they going to have some that are like, hey, this side mission is a Batgirl side mission. You have to play as Batgirl for this mission.
Oh yeah, I definitely think they will, and
that's where they could dive into her dealing with the loss of her father, the loss of Jim.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we don't know like all the details, so we may not know why Jim's dead.
I
mean, there may be a very good chance that, and then it could be, I don't know, like for instance, I mean, I don't think they'd pull the Joker out in this unless if they're going to be like Joker killed Batman.
Yeah, and like the thing with the Joker too that kind of plays into it for me is like the Joker and Batman are almost like yin and yang, to where it's like one can't live without the other, if you know what I mean. Like one's bad for the other, but they can't live without each other.
Well, because that's why. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I don't remember if it's in the comics or if it's in the game where Joker says, "As long as someone like you exists, people like me will exist."
Yeah, exactly. Like Batman brings out. It was even talked about in the Dark Knight movies, where like Batman and Joker attract each other, and like there's a reason why both of them kind of exist. On the other side, though, I wanted to flip into the other game we got announced, which I'll be honest, I didn't know if I was going to be super excited for it, but holy shit, am I excited for this game. We got our first look at the trailer for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and we got to see it. Kind of looked like some gameplay, but it wasn't actually a gameplay trailer. We know that the Suicide Squad for this mission, for now, is Harley, Deadshot, King Shark, Captain Boomerang. This, to me, captured everything that I wanted in a Suicide Squad game. The kind of them talking back and forth, getting the bombs over Baghdad from Outkast as the soundtrack for it. Here's the question I'm going to ask you, Soaps, because I'm assuming you've watched the trailer as well. You're probably just as hyped as I am for this game. I want to ask you, when it comes to King Shark, think about King Shark's voice, okay? Are you thinking about his voice from the trailer? Can you pull that from your memory banks? Is that Dave Bautista?
I'd have to listen to it again.
It sounded,
I pulled up the trailer, so...
So, King Shark to me, at the beginning, not so much, but at the end of the trailer, before, like, Superman comes, like, how his voice sounded, he sounded a lot like Drax, to where I'm like, huh, is that Dave Bautista? Now, the only one confirmed is that Tara Strong is Harley Quinn, which is, yes, we get Tara Strong back as Harley Quinn. She's one of the quintessential voices for the role of Harley. But yeah, that was one where I'm like, is that Dave Bautista? Is that Dave Bautista? Or am I just going crazy?
Yeah, I mean, there may be a chance of it.
Do you think he'd do a video game? He's done one before. Duh, I'm dumb. He did Gears of War. So of course he would. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else in Twitch or YouTube Spear thought the same thing. But what were your initial thoughts for the Suicide Squad trailer, Soaps?
Whenever I first saw the trailer, and especially because I'm watching over it again, and whenever like I saw the giant skull, at first I was like, "What the fuck is that thing?" You know?
Yeah.
Like that was just fucking blowing my mind. So, like, I'm wondering, I mean, obviously, you know, the game's called Kills the Justice League, so I'm not going to put it past it if we kill the Justice League. But I almost wonder, like, if there's something else happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Mostly because the Justice League didn't put a giant fucking, like, weird octopus skeleton thing there. So, I don't know exactly how to think about it. I mean, once again, I'm not the best with like putting things into context with what I'm talking about, mostly because my brain decided to stop working for a second.
Yeah, and like I put the trailer up so people can see what you were saying at the beginning. Like, here's my thought with the big skull thing, is that my first thought was Brainiac. That this is Brainiac. Brainiac invades, and the whole reason why we're playing as the Suicide Squad is because we'll see it at the end too, of like, so Superman's eyes are purple. So my thought process is, hey, Brainiac has attacked. He has mind controlled the Justice League, or at least mind controlled Superman. And the whole reason we're playing as the Suicide Squad is Amanda Waller and the government are like, well, shit, we got to go up against Superman. Who do we throw at him? And Amanda Waller's like, hey, well, let's throw these guys at him. Let's throw Task Force X at him, because if they die, who gives a shit? They're all fucking criminals anyways. So, like, to me, that's what I think the central story is going to be. Now, is it all the Justice League that's taken over by Brainiac? Is it just Superman and Suicide Squad is going to have to work with or kill the entire Justice League? Because like you said, it's called Kill the Justice League. So I'm assuming we're going to kill Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, that we're going to kill the entire Justice League. It's just who's the main villain behind this and what happens with the rest of the story is what I'm like, huh? And I'm kind of pondering.
Yeah, and especially because, I mean, we see, I forget what his name is. It's like something Shark.
King Shark.
I'm really bad with characters. Yeah.
King Shark.
Yeah, with King Shark, it's like we see him like pop a Batman balloon, which, I mean, obviously that may just be fucking me reading it way too much.
I mean, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, though. Like, maybe that's exactly what they want you to think.
Yeah, of like, I think we are going to end up killing all.
Uh-oh. Did I die? Did Soapy die? Who died here? Who died? Who died here, guys? Not me. I don't think it's me. I don't think it is me.
Freya.
Yeah, that was a me thing, so you continue with your point.
Okay.
We didn't lose stream though, I don't think. So, yeah, you can just continue at your point. I got the trailer going.
Okay. But yeah, it's, I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's Brainiac, especially because like we've seen basically like what like the minions look like.
Yeah.
How they're like a mixture of like, they look like people, but they have like that weird like purple stuff on them.
Oh, not to cut you off, but I'm going to go back in the trailer really quick here. You know what I just caught in the background of the trailer?
Huh.
So it's coming up right now. People are going to see it on Twitch chat. Let's see. I'm going to pause it so we can see it. Right. Deadshot. Right there. Look what's in the background. I mean, it makes sense of why it's in the background. But the part I have frozen on screen is behind Boomerang in this quick shot. You see LexCorp. I mean, it makes sense. They're in Metropolis. So LexCorp would be there. So like, there's a part of me of like, is Lex Luthor going to be in the game? Cause that's something of like, that's an Easter egg to where it's like, is that something where it's just placed there because, hey, it's Metropolis? Or is Lex Luthor going to be in the game? The other thing I threw out is, are these going to be the only Suicide Squad members we play as? Or are we going to get more of them?
I think they may just stick to this small group of them.
Mm-hmm. Don't want to overcomplicate things.
Yeah, you don't want to put way too many people in, because then if you do, it's like, okay, because then you got to find some way to like all of them feel unique, and it's like, I think it's easier to just have like these four rather than just like the whole Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm. Also, we're gonna do a poll right here on the show. You ready? You ready for this?
All right.
So I've got to unmute YouTube because I had it muted because I didn't want it talking over us. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back up a second to where King Shark is gonna talk. And Twitch chat is going to help us, Soapy, of is this or is this not Dave Bautista? Ready? Are you ready for this, Soaps?
Yep.
Twitch chat, help us out. Is this Dave Bautista's King Shark?
Whoa. Look, it's Superman. The mighty Superman has just rescued that pilot.
What a show-off. Beat it, spandex!
I'm going to play it again. I totally think this is Dave Bautista.
Look, it's Superman. The mighty Superman has just rescued that pilot.
What a show-off. Beat it!
I'm going to say it again. I totally think it's Dave Bautista. It just, that popped to the forefront of my mind. Because as we were having the trailer on here, I was like, oh shit, I can actually play it for everyone. But yeah, like, what you were saying, I kind of asked you was like, maybe stick to these four because you don't want to overcomplicate things. I also find it funny that the two Batman-esque games or DC games we are getting this year basically involve the same type of gameplay. You know what I'm talking about? Where like Gotham Knights, you have 4 of them and you get to switch off, and Suicide Squad, you're going to have 4 of them and you get to switch off. Like, My one worry was, hey, you know, are these two games going to be too similar in styles? Or is this just like one's going to be very different because, hey, for the first time, we're playing as the villains?
I mean, who knows? It may be very similar. I think they'll find a way to make it so that it's not the same.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's two different studios, so like there'll be like uniqueness to it because it's Rocksteady and Warner Brother that are doing it. So let's see. I don't want to put like the whole like, oh, is it going to be the exact same game already on it when we haven't even really seen gameplay for Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Moving on though, because do you have anything else to say about Suicide Squad? About the game? No. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't cutting you off. You had anything you wanted to mention. But the next thing we're going to get into is, I don't know if this is going to be as long as a Batman discussion, but I think it's kind of interesting, is that, so IGN had basically, let's see, what's his name? They had Jeff Kingsley, Game Awards, Jeff Kingsley, on one of their shows, IGN Unfiltered. And basically it's been announced that the 2020 Game Awards is still happening online. And it's the biggest one yet. So it's going to be all online. It's apparently going to be big. The exact quote from Jeff is this. We are absolutely not going to have 10,000 people in a room together physically for the show, but I think you'll see a little bit of this with how we do Gamescom. We're definitely doing more than just be in a room announcing winners. I'm really passionate about still doing the live show versus something pre-recorded. So yeah, we're working on some scenarios for ways we can present the show live with a bit of a spectacle to people without the public being able to buy tickets to come to the show and things like that this year. So Soapy, I just want to ask you, Game Awards this year, how would you do it? You're in charge. Jeff Kingsley just said, congratulations, Soaps. You are now in charge of planning and executing the Game Awards. What do you do?
Ask WWE if you could use the goddamn Thunderdome.
The Thunderdome. You gotta use the Thunderdome. The Thunderdome is the best thing now in sports. We ragged on it for a day, and now it's the best thing in sports.
Yeah. But no, I think it's, if I was in charge of it, I mean, obviously they're going to do a live stream. I feel like they're probably going to handle the live streams kind of like how they always handle like showcases and stuff like that for like Xbox, PlayStation, and stuff like that. I think something like that's going to happen. But I also think that now, since they don't have to worry about like, oh, like we have to relegate all this space for fans, like I almost feel if they rent out a stage or if they use a stadium or anything, we could see them start like, I don't want to say like, oh, you know, like we see the same shit that like Forza did every year, of where they bring in like an actual car, and stuff like that. But I think we see more stuff like that. I think I'm trying to almost think like I could this is gonna be like the fucking most boring thing, but it's like you have like a poll at like the very end or something like that. Like they may have like a fan voted one. Because like let's say for instance they may be like, oh, like critically acclaimed, like this game won it, but the fans say this game won it. And stuff like that. I wouldn't be too good at planning events, as you could probably tell.
I like what you're saying though. The thing I liked was the Forza thing with the car. Because with it being virtual this year, the thing I would say the Game Awards is the best thing this year is it doesn't lock you down to one location. If you want to record things in different locations, pre-record some stuff, like go ahead and do that. Show Jeff Kingsley, if he's going to be the one hosting it, obviously, show him in different locations. Make it fresh. Don't just make it him in a room and it's like, okay, now we got this. Here's this trailer. Here's that. Here's this winner. Here's that winner, kind of a thing. So, like, they can do different things with it, and I'm excited to see what they do. The other thing I can't wait for is put out your damn nominations already. I want to be able to predict this thing and tell you what my game of the year is and stuff like that.
I think it's going to be Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
Anyways.
I was going to say, do you have a game of the year this year?
Yeah, I think it's Ghost of Tsushima. I don't really think, 2020, obviously the whole year has just been fucking something. But,
because, I'm trying to think of the nominees. Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2.
I think Jedi Fallen Order technically counts.
Jedi Fallen Order technically. Doom Eternal, would that be in there for Game of the Year?
I think that counted for last year, I think.
Did it?
I think so.
Let me look up last year. Let's see.
Yeah, I may be wrong about that, so obviously take my smooth brain with a grain of salt.
Here, let's see. The Game Awards. Yes. Come on. Winners.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what games came out this year.
2020 has been fucked, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, it's also that weird situation of 2020's been fucked, and it doesn't feel like a lot of games have been released.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's there's been games released that probably would make it that I'm just too dumb to remember.
Yeah.
I think it's probably just I want to forget 2020 in general.
Doom Eternal did not register last year because it came out in March of 2020.
Oh.
So I would say some of my nominations would be Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, Doom Eternal's probably going to be in there.
Fallen
Order because it wasn't in there last year. And then some other ones as well that I can't think of off the top of my head. But moving on, the next thing we're going to talk about is, so there was a trailer put out today, Soapy, by Deadlick Studios. It is called Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to put it up here on the Twitch stream while we talk about it. It's called Lord of the Rings Gollum. And it's apparently a Prince of Persia-like stealth game that is going to basically, we didn't get a ton of it. We just got a little minute trailer when it came to this. What are your thoughts on getting a Prince of Persia-like stealth game wrapped around Gollum? Because it's supposed to feature a branching, this is from IGN Joe Skrebels, feature a branching narrative and expand the hints given by J.R.R. Tolkien about the store formerly known as Schmeagol to create a brand new Lord of the Rings story that aims to fit alongside the books. What are your thoughts on this?
Wasn't the Prince of Persia games basically what Assassin's Creed became?
A little bit, yeah.
So we're basically getting Shadow of War, but this time we play as Gollum.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it. Dude, I fucking absolutely love Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's one of those situations of, do I really want to play as Gollum?
Yeah.
Gollum just feels like one of those characters.
Why wouldn't you want to?
Gollum just runs around and hits shit with fucking rocks.
Yeah, but it's a stealth game.
Yeah, if I want to play a stealth Lord of the Rings game, I can play Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
Okay. So you're not buying it because it's Gollum.
Yeah, it's, I get it. Gollum is, I'll say a fan favorite, mostly because he has the whole thing of, my process and all that stupid shit.
My preciouses. Yeah, it's not even a good one. Yeah. I'm too low. I gotta be higher.
Yeah, you gotta get that weird tone in your voice. The process. You gotta do that.
I used to be able to do it. The one thing I will say, and I'm switching back, I know this ain't done yet. I hope it ain't, because right here, when you look at Gollum, am I the only one that thinks he looks weird?
His face looks weird.
Yeah, am I the only one that thinks his face doesn't look like Gollum here? Which, that's another thing of okay, how good is this game gonna look? I would be lying if I did not tell you, Soapy, that I am intrigued about this Lord of the Ring game. But, like, for me, I'm trying to think, how many stealth games do I play? I don't play a lot of stealth games. So, like, unless this is going to be, like, I'm trying to think, like, Splinter Cell. Metal Gear Solid had a little bit of stealth to it. You mentioned Shadow of Mordor is what you said?
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
Where, like, the story has got to hit here, because if the story doesn't hit, then it leaves you wanting, and not the good kind of wanting. So for me, it's just a little bit of like, hey, it looks cool. Schmeagol looked kind of weird there, but I'm assuming the game ain't completely done. And I'm intrigued by it. I can't wait to see more from it. Maybe when we see a gameplay trailer, and stuff like that. Then we're going to move on, Soapy. We got Shorty But A Goodie. Some good Shorty But A Goodies for today. The first one, some Cyberpunk 2077 news. This is from Jordan Oleman at IGN. Cyberpunk 2077 will feature free DLC alongside paid expansions. Soapy, this is kind of like what The Witcher did. Also a cousin to Cyberpunk 2077. I think this is the right move because obviously if someone's not going to buy the paid expansion, you're still giving them something more from the game.
Buy DLCs if like the free quality content that you're getting is actually good. Mm-hmm. Like obviously if the free content is garbage, then may be people like, do I want to spend $10? Like I don't know what the expansions probably cost, like $10, $15.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. It's like people may then have the thought process of like, do I want to spend $10, $15 on content that like I may not even enjoy?
Mm-hmm. No, I get you there.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? It could be something that like this is really good, which I like, but it could also be something that's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, I just like it because, like I said, there's going to be people that are going to buy the paid expansions because they love it, but there's also the people that can't. So it says, hey, you know what? We're still giving you some on the top things to continue your gameplay after the story. For those of you who can't or don't want to buy the paid expansions. The next thing is going to be short little NHL 21 news. Apparently they dropped a trailer today and they're making big changes to Be A Pro. According to Polygon.com, it says a brand new Be A Pro experience gives you the chance to live the life of an NHL player on and off the ice. Impress the front office, go early on draft day, and chase greatness as you earn your spot on the first line, compete for a Stanley Cup, and become the league's next best. Recognize future with Be A Pro NHL 21. And this is something that I'm intrigued about because, so NHL, when I played the games, the mode that I'm going to say the mode I hated the most was Be A Pro because there was nothing in it that like drew me to it. It felt like it was hard to be a pro in the NHL games. Maybe that's because I just wasn't good at the player lock mechanic of it, but like Be A Pro to me, I think was the one mode that was lacking. So it's nice to see, hey, EA, have your opinions about EA, whatever you think. They're actually thinking about Be A Pro and making some good changes to it. Then a little shorty for those of you who like the Yakuza series, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Sega announced the release along with a new trailer for that game. Dave, I got him excited, Soapy, because Blizzard is finally making a World of Warcraft animated series called Afterlives. This is according to TheVerge.com. It says, Blizzard is releasing an original animated series based on the World of Warcraft, the developer announced today. Afterlives will premiere this Thursday during Gamescom 2020's online celebration. It's a move that feels inevitable. Blizzard has long hyped its games from World of Warcraft to Hearthstone and Overwatch with beautifully animated shorts. They're a way to hype characters or stories, promotional material that rarely has ever has a long tail. Afterlives is a first original series that takes the lore of World of Warcraft and turns it into something standalone. Soapy, I'm hyped for this. I'm going to give my thoughts in a second. What do you think of this? You know, Blizzard using the great cinematic team that they have, saying, hey, you guys make great shorts for us. Let's make an animated series out of you guys.
I mean, if it looks like the cinematic trailers, it's going to look good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once again, I've never been a super huge fan of World of Warcraft, so who knows?
I mean, go ahead. I cut you off.
I don't know. I was just going to say, like, I'm probably not going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something, I'm happy for World of Warcraft fans. Also, I hate to do this. I do have to step away for a little bit.
Okay. How long?
Hopefully I'm back by the end.
How long's a little bit?
Like, maybe. Like 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, then you step away. I'll tell me when you're back, and then, because I'm just going to talk about World of Warcraft then. I could talk for 3 minutes. Because my thoughts on the World of Warcraft thing is, I can't wait for it because these cinematics were so beautiful. Beautiful to the fact of, like, I think of the Jaina Proudmoore cinematic where I remember Dave and I gushing over that and how beautiful it was leading up to the BFA release, or in Overwatch especially, every time there was a new character, you got the new trailer that they would come out with, kind of introducing the character, introducing what it is. And for me, I am going to watch this. It's not just because I'm a World of Warcraft fan, though. It's because these situations and this, like, not situations, what was the word I was thinking of? These animations have been beautiful. I can't wait to see what the story is. Dave asked me before Games Live, is it supposed to be linked to Shadowlands? And I was like, I don't think so. I don't really know, but it looks like now, diving more into the article, that no, it's not linked to Shadowlands. It's just going to be a World of Warcraft story that is going to be great for all the fans. Shorty But A Goodie, moving on though. We'll do it without Soapy. Activision, just some detailed timings with that, so Wednesday is going to be an all Call of Duty show. I'm going to say that now, or the beginning of the show is going to be Call of Duty, maybe, because we're going to have the reveal event for Call of Duty on Wednesday, and it looks like, according to VGC.com, here's what they said. VGC understands that the new Black Ops will include its own game mode, such as campaign, multiplayer, and zombies, but it will also incorporate free-to-play Warzone like Infinity War has done with Modern Warfare. Warzone will continue to run on Modern Warfare's engine, with development led by longtime Battle Royale collaborator Raven Software, which also created Black Ops 4's Blackout mode. However, sources indicated to VGC that a planned Warzone map update will now take place later in the year. VGC previously reported that the Black Ops reveal would coincide with a Verdansk revamp to bring it more aesthetically in line with the game's Cold War setting. So, really stuff we pretty much thought. It's going to have a campaign. It's going to have a multiplayer. It's going to have zombies. Soapy and I were talking zombies before, so we'll have zombies, and it looks like Warzone, that is going to kind of be morphed later this year when it comes out. Hey, Warzone is kind of going to more look like a Cold War aesthetic rather than the one we are getting right now. And I am going to ask whether he is back or not. If he's not back, he's just not going to say anything. Soapy, you back yet?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The last Shorty But A Goodie, this one I put on here mainly for you, Soaps. I like it too because You know, I like Dungeons and Dragons, but you're the one that got me into D&D. According to Polygon.com, Dungeons and Dragons' next book will offer an alternative way to handle race. And basically, let's see, where's the snippet I was gonna use? It's called Tassa's Cauldron of Everything, and it says,
Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Tassa's Cauldron won't have any new classes, but will instead offer up collection to sub-races or subclasses, which are for every published class in Edition 5. These subclasses are all drawn from the intensively play-tested Unearthed Arena column in the D&D website. Soapy, I just want to throw this out for you, basically, as a DM, as a guy who loves D&D. What is your thought on this new book for D&D and what it's going to do with these new subclasses?
I can't wait for it, and it's mostly because whenever I was reading the thing, that it says it's going to follow in the same vein of Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Yep.
Which, in my personal opinion, Xanathar's Guide to Everything is the best D&D book published.
So it just, the hype went through the roof, basically.
Yeah, if it's following the exact same pattern of where, like, Xanathar has completely changed the way 5e was.
Okay.
Because before it was pretty linear, like, there wasn't a lot of stuff to do. Then Xanathar's came out, and it was like, oh shit, here's all this new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it added a whole bunch of new lore. Obviously, 99.99% of DMs don't give a shit about lore.
Yeah.
Because, like me, most DMs just make, like, their own world.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they use a pre-written one, they just kind of use whatever lore's given there. And they just kind of change things to fit what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is going to be really important to the lifespan of 5e. Like, obviously, I think within the next few years, we're probably going to start getting, like, hey, 6th edition may be coming. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, this may be, like, them kind of introducing some things that they may want to introduce in that.
Because right now, we're still in 5e, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And we're about, I think 5e started in, like, 2007, I think.
Oh, shit. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I'd have to check. I think it's probably older than that, actually.
Damn, 5e started when I was you said 2007?
Yeah.
5e started when I was a junior in high school, Soapy? When I was just a young junior, turning 17 on my 17th birthday, which was my golden birthday, because the day of my birthday is the 17th. What?
That was 4th edition. That's my bad. 4th edition was 2008. 5th edition started in 2014.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, that was a long time. But yeah, I threw that in there mainly for you because I know you got me into D&D, but you're the main D&Der that I know on the show. But the last thing we're going to get into, and I don't know how long this show has run for because of all the interruptions due to, I don't know if it's my internet or my Streamlabs. I don't fucking know. But whatever it is, fuck it. We're talking Epic versus Apple. Wanted to end the show with it today because Soapy originally was getting real mad at Microsoft because there's an article on IGN that says Microsoft has filed a statement in support of Epic's request to keep access to the Apple SDK for its Unreal Engine. I'm just gonna read the article. I'm gonna read. Where's the part? So according to the article, here it is. In Microsoft's view, there are very few other options for game engines that offer as much functionality as Unreal Engine across multiple platforms, including iOS. Furthermore, Microsoft has an enterprise-wide multi-year Unreal Engine license agreement and has invested significant resources and engineer time working with and customizing Unreal Engine for its games on PC, Xbox, and mobile devices. In the case for other developers in the game industry, if Apple were to deny Epic access to Apple's SKD, which is the developer kit, and other developmental tools, it would place Unreal Engine and those game creators that have built, are building, and may build games on it at a substantial disadvantage. This move, according to Microsoft, would also harm those developers who have already released Unreal Engine games on iOS, as there would be no future ability to develop updates and improvements for iOS and Mac OS. Soapy, what are your thoughts on this, as this is the next kind of cycling in the Epic versus Apple conundrum?
Surprisingly, I'm actually on Epic's side with this. I think Apple should still allow them the access to it. Obviously, if Apple is completely removing them from the store, like they don't get to keep anything, then I see where Apple's coming from. But in that case of like, as much as I love saying, and by love saying I mean I fucking hate it because I'm tired of talking about them. Oh, fuck Epic. It's Epic still has the right to Unreal Engine. It's just right now it's in that weird state of like, obviously we all know my stance on Epic right now. But
go watch any old episode. Go watch any old episode where we've talked about Epic versus Apple.
Yeah, and corporate America hating Soapy comes out. But it's just, I hope they get to keep access to it, because obviously I don't want to see Fortnite die, mostly because it's one of the, and if not the biggest game in the world right now. And, you know, it's, as much as I hate Epic as a corporate entity, I don't hate them as a company.
Yeah.
Or like as people who like are like game publishers. So I hope they can get still access to it, but still to this day, until they admit they're wrong in the lawsuit, it's fuck Epic.
Yep. And there's another one. This is from The Verge. This is on the other side, Apple. So Apple has responded to Epic Games' antitrust lawsuit over the iOS App Store policies. The filing asks a court not to temporarily reverse an App Store ban while the suit is ongoing. And it accuses Epic of disingenuously creating an emergency by attempting direct payments through Fortnite in violation of Apple's rules. In a declaration to the court, Apple executive Phil Schiller wrote that Epic CEO Tim Sweeney asked for a special deal with only Epic that would fundamentally change the way in which Epic offers apps on Apple's iOS platform. When Apple declined, Epic changed its policy and cut Apple out of its in-app purchases. Now the company argues that Epic's ban is its own responsibility. In the wake of its own voluntary actions, Epic now seeks emergency relief. But the emergency is entirely in Epic's own making. Apple's response reads, developers who work to deceive Apple, as Epic has done here, are terminated. And my whole thought here is that I don't know if I agree with Microsoft in the sense of, oh my God, if Apple doesn't give Epic the rights to use or the request to use the developer kit, that it's going to have a bad way, like a big impact on gaming. And the only way I say that is this is basically the only thing Apple has to hold over Epic. And Soapy, correct me if I'm wrong, Epic's not the only one making games with this developer kit, right?
Oh, yeah, no, it's Unreal Engine's one of the biggest engines in the world right now.
Yeah, so it's like, it would fuck over Epic. It wouldn't fuck over anyone else. It's basically, the way I look at it is play by the rules and you still get to use it. Like, just because Apple isn't gonna take the request of Epic doesn't mean they're gonna take it away from Microsoft. Like, that'd be stupid. What, this isn't preschool. This isn't, well, you know, Soapy over there, he pooped on the carpet, so no one gets a nap time today. No, that's not how this goes. This is basically...
Why did I poop on the carpet?
Sophie's like, what? Me pooping on the carpet in preschool? What? This is not how it is. So, like, I don't know. I feel like this is Microsoft just worrying to worry. And it's a big worry. It's just, I don't see the problem. This is an Epic Apple debate. And it's going to be like that. We don't know anything coming up. But The Verge also did have an article about Unity's IPO filing shows how big a threat it poses to Epic and the Unreal Engine. This was from earlier today, and this is kind of the last thing that we have in this update. It says Unity, maker of the popular Unity game engine, has filed to go public at an incredible moment in time. Its chief rival, Epic Games, is currently busy arguing that Apple is holding the Unreal Engine hostage, and Epic will appear in court this very afternoon to demand a restraining order so Apple can't cut off access to developers. What's more incredible, though, the numbers revealed in Unity's new S1 filing show the company is far more of a formidable rival to Epic than we thought. We knew the early surge of interest in Unity may have forced Epic's hand, first when Epic drastically dropped the price of Unreal Engine in 2014, and in 2015 when it started letting developers build with Unreal for free. But despite those moves, Unity says that in 2019, over half of the top games on mobile, PC, and consoles were made with Unity, including 53% of the top 1,000 games on iOS App Store, and Google Play. This is the thing that I bring in to say, I don't know if this is a big loss for the gaming community, because there's other gaming engines out there. Are they all the same? No, but we talk about fuck Epic, and this is where you get your annual fuck Epic in, Soapy, because Epic's not doing, in my mind, Epic is not doing this for this is the right thing for gaming. They're doing it because, okay, if we lose this developer kit, nobody else can use our Unreal Engine, because no one else is going to make games if it can't go on the Apple Store, or if it can't go on Apple Store and Google Store. So Epic's afraid that if Apple doesn't give them this request, that if I'm Microsoft, well, fuck this engine, I'm going to go over to Unity's engine. Like, that's really the crux of this, is that Epic is going to lose customers, lose money, lose people using their engine to go over to their biggest rival's engine.
Yeah, I got to agree with this guy in Twitch chat.
Go ahead.
Yes, there's other engines, but once again, Unreal Engine is such a good engine, and it's so easy to work with.
Yeah.
And it's so much higher quality than a lot of other engines out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, having to use Unity is basically just getting, like, socked in the face. And now you just have to kind of just be like, okay, I guess I gotta accept I can't use the better engine now. Like, I see where...
But at the same time, I'll throw this in there. Is this Epic, like, is this all because of Epic, like, is this Epic's fault? Where basically, if they would have never did what they did in the first place, nobody would be in this situation then. Like, I'm trying to think of a way, is Apple wrong for holding this engine hostage? And in my mind, I can't give a no. I can't give a yes, they are wrong. I can only give a this is the only thing they can do in this battle with Epic, because Epic started this.
Yep. And it all boils down to fuck Epic. Who's been saying that since day one?
I told you get your fuck Epic moment in here.
Yeah, it's almost like if Epic wasn't greedy, we wouldn't be in a situation where other companies were being worried. Because it's also...
Do you think Microsoft, after a while, goes to Epic and says, hey man, we can't have this happen. Drop your fucking shit. Go back to playing by the rules, because this is how it needs to be done. Or like other companies speak out to Epic where it's like, hey man, we're not going to win this fight. Like, just, we need this Unreal Engine.
I don't think it'll be Microsoft. I think it's just going to be peer pressure. It's going to be as more people start to realize that, like, okay, Epic's not in the right, which they should have been saying since day one.
Yeah.
Like, when people start realizing Epic's in the wrong, when Epic realizes they are fighting a losing battle, and they'd finally decide, like, you know what? We were in the wrong. We apologize. Whatever. I mean, hell, for all we know, Epic could just be like, nope, we're still right. Don't matter.
Yeah.
And then they ruin it for everyone else. And right now, I think it's... I don't know if companies like Microsoft will tell them, like, listen, just drop it. But I definitely think it's going to be a situation of where we see companies start siding with Apple more than Epic. Like, obviously, you know, there's always the... You don't want to side with competition. And right now, it's... Siding with Epic isn't like a suicide wish to your company, but it's more of like a, okay, you obviously are trying to make more money, and you're pulling the, oh, little guy good, big guy do little guy favor.
Little guy good, we gonna do you the big one. We gonna do you the big one, the biggest of solids.
Yeah, and it's whenever they're like, oh, you know, we're gonna help you. It's like, no, it doesn't really help the little guy. It helps the corporation because now, boom, the rich get richer, and the poor who were just trying to get around are still experiencing the same thing, except now they get an extra $1.
Yeah, and now Apple takes something away from them. Like I said, this is going to have developments. This is not going to be the last time we talk about Epic versus Apple. I wish it was. I looked at my light really quick, because I'm like, I think my lights are getting darker on me. I think one of them might be going out. As I'm like, shit, fuck. I feel like I'm losing lights in here. I got to buy lights to go in front of me so that doesn't happen. But do you have any final thoughts on this before we close up shop?
Fuck Epic.
All right. Thank you guys for watching MVP Games Live today. Apologize for the little cut-upness that happened with the stream dropping. Hopefully we'll get that fixed. I'll get that fixed. I don't know what the issue is. That's the problem. Wasn't losing internet. It was just kind of like a little hiccup in the connection. But make sure to join the Discord channel if you have not already. Link down below, or if you're on Twitch chat, you can go ahead and type !Discord to give you that link. Make sure to check out patreon.com/MVPvids. That is where you can help support the channel and help us continue to create all the content that we love making for you each and every day. Soapy and I will be back tomorrow for another jam-packed show of gaming news. I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.